Sales are up, prices are down, and listings just fell off a cliff. So is the GTA market actually recovering, or is there something else going on? Because what I'm about to tell you will change everything depending on whether you're looking to buy or to sell. So Trreb just dropped their market report, and the headlines look almost encouraging. According to them, sales were up 6.3% compared to May of last year. Now, just to remind you, May of last year was totally dead. So you take what I'm saying from that point on. Yes. As I was saying, you take what you can from this. May of last year was recorded to be the worst month ever. So beating it is not exactly something to pop the champagne on. But numbers actually matter, and new listings have dropped 19%. And that, by far, is not a small dip. Here's where it gets interesting and a little confusing all at the same time. You see, when supply drops and sales go up, the old rule would say that prices should rise. But that's not what's happening here. Prices are a bit down. The average selling price is $1.07 million. It's down 4.6% from last year. The benchmark down over 6.7% year over year. So the market is tightening on paper, but the buyers still have negotiating power. That's what, Trreb said themselves. So how does that happen when simple demand still isn't strong enough to absorb these prices? Buyers are back, but they're not desperate. They're reading the room, they're watching the job numbers, and they're taking their time. And don't forget, they're also watching their grocery bill and their gas bill. So let me just kind of break down what I think is really missing is the story about the seller. I think while a lot of homeowners are choosing not to list, and I get it, this is some of the reasons why. Some are locked into a lower mortgage rate and they don't want to give it up. Absolutely. Some bought right near the peak in 2022, and selling would mean that they'd have to write a check along with the sale of their house. And some have no idea what to do next, as the math on moving just doesn't work for them. And some investors, of course, are holding on because they understand that selling would lock them in for a loss. And some others are renting instead and hoping the market does come back. You see, this is where the freeze happens, where buyers say, I won't pay that, and sellers say, I won't take less. And when that happens, you see people are dug in and nothing is moving. So now let's talk about some numbers. York Region condo apartments are down 9.5% year over year. Peel down 7.6%. The city of Toronto down 5.4%. And the 905 condos are down almost 10%. And here's what will stop you in your shoes. All of the homes that were bought in 2022 and sold in 2025 sold for a 36.6% loss. And what that means is 1 in 3 people bought at that top price sold for a loss. Here are some other numbers. Durham region, 23% of sales are at a loss. Peel region, 29.6%. Toronto, 22.3%. And we're not talking cottage country, we're talking the GTA. And so the loss for homes between $500K to $1 million, probably more condos than you think. 37.9% sold at a loss. And from $1 million to $3 million, 33.7% sold at a loss. Power sales. Here's what's lurking below the surface that nobody wants to talk about at dinner parties. It's the power sale transactions in Ontario. And that hit almost 3,000 in 2025, the highest since 2016. And it's up from just 578 in 2022. That's 41.5% increase in 3 years. Now, when I talk about power sales, you've heard me say it a couple of times that I've never, in the last 15 years, I haven't really seen that many power sales. It's been crazy, very few, not that many, but now it's a whole different story. My understanding that the power sales are about to get worse in 2026. Homeowner insolvencies are up more than 11%. in the first quarter of 2026 compared to the previous quarter, and that's been the highest since 2009. So this is the reality I share with my downsizing clients. There are two types of sellers right now. The voluntary seller, the one that has equity, they have options, they're waiting, they don't have to sell, they don't have a mortgage, so they probably won't sell. And the secondary is the forced seller, the person getting divorced. And from what I understand and from what we learn from studies, it tends to go up in recessions. Job loss also tends to go up with recessions. Insolvencies, they are the ones setting a new comp. And every time these group of people sell, they push prices lower. The voluntary seller that's waiting is actually making the problem worse for everyone, because less supply and lower prices is a weird, uncomfortable combo for us to be in. And so for some of my downsizers, not for all of you, but for some of you who probably owned your house for 10, 15, 20 years, your equity is probably stronger and you're still at a good spot to be in. You're not that person that bought at the peak. The move you've been putting off is because you feel it's too complicated, not because you feel you're not going to get enough out of your property, or it's too scary, which I totally get. So the question I'm asking you today is, what do you think? Is the GTA finding its floor, or do we have more grinding ahead? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. For all of you who don't know me, my name is Jacqueline Watson, and I'm a realtor specializing in downsizers in the GTA and Toronto.